Mindful Reality, the channel where I cover reality TV from a mental health perspective. We are on The Last Dance. The Last Dance. Well, what do I mean by The Last Dance? I got on here the day of my first office day with my current team at work. I got on here talking about I don't know how it's going to go. A lot of the people I had never met in person. I was the new guy. So I'm like, I don't know how these office meetings go. It's going to be a feeling out process. Get to see the voices or sometimes the faces that I see on Microsoft Teams, see those people in person, see how those interactions get. Hi, Tricity. You really don't sleep for real. See how all those interactions go. Now at this point, even though I have only met these people about 2 to 3 times, I feel tired of them now. Because now that I have been able to put a face to the name, the in-person interactions tend to annoy me because the energy is different. Now, I know that meeting people in person, they're going to have less of a tendency to argue and squabble and do the little shady things that they do when they're sitting behind a computer and a keyboard. But at the same time, I'm not like that. I'm not a corporate person. So what I mean by that is I'm the same person behind the computer and in front of somebody's face. I don't say anything to anyone typed out that I wouldn't say to their face. There's people who say so much stuff to me on a phone, on a computer, in a meeting, that they would just never say to me, and I don't like that. So I fight against the tendency when I get into these settings to rehash things that were typed out to me. But I still do it anyways. I just try to do it in a way that doesn't look too unprofessional. The way that I do it is I will slide in a joke. As much as I have told people on here, I don't like when people use jokes to make serious statements about things they feel. I do that in corporate settings. In my personal life, I'll just tell you directly because I don't have money on the line. Me telling you how I feel does not impact money that I'm going to be getting. But in a setting where the things that I'm saying could impact my paycheck and my livelihood, I've had to figure out ways to say things that I want to say where people hear what I'm saying and they know what I'm getting at, but they also can't say I'm combative. It's something that I have worked on. Hold on. The art of war. I mean, it's not really war, but it is war in a sense. Because at the end of the day, everybody is just trying to make their money. Listen, I just thought of something funny. I always say this. We sit down and we watch how people behave on The Challenge. We watch how people behave on Big Brother, on Survivor. And people are like, this person is selfish. I would never have done this. I would never have handled this way. I would never have taken all the money. I would never have taken the credit when that was not my idea. I see these people doing these things every day with less money on the line, right? Like, I'll sit here and I'll make $60,000, let's say, and then my team lead will make $65,000. They'll step on my head to get that extra $5,000. I could see some of the people in my organization right now that I work with right now being shadier, sneakier, and even less trustworthy than a Johnny Bananas or these people that are considered villains on these shows. I could see that because I see people in these settings that are condescending, bullying behavior, conniving, manipulative, passive aggressive. That's called work. My workplace and many other workplaces that I've been in before, you could bring camera crew in there, it would be a whole show. Imagine things that are done in emails and Teams calls and stuff. Somebody had a camera crew recording all of this, and then there was a confessional room where you could talk about how you felt when this person said or did this. I've been somebody who has come up with something, and then I've been told it's a bad idea, and then a couple months later I see my same idea remixed and presented like it's a new one. No, I mean, not everybody feels what I'm saying. I get that. It's all gonna go in my book one day. My dad used to do that growing up. It drove me nuts. And now I do it all the time to lighten the convo. Yeah, my dad, I don't know, maybe my dad did that outside of the home. My dad is so interesting because inside the home, he was so serious. He's like the most serious man ever in life. But he told so many jokes outside of the house. Like, they got a completely different version of my dad in those settings than I ever got in life. People are shady in business. Sometimes, often. People are often shady in business to get ahead. And I'm sitting here looking at them like, how do you sleep at night? But I mean, everybody has a different moral compass. So maybe they sleep well, but my grandma that she taught me from when I was little, she told me there's nobody above you and there's nobody beneath you. She was like, every job matters, from the CEO to the janitor. Nothing makes you a better person than anyone else in terms of qualification wise, and there's nobody that's too insignificant for you to talk to. And these hierarchies, some people are really big on the hierarchy. Like, they'll look at me, they're not looking at me by who I am and who I present myself to be and if I'm respectable, nothing like that. It's just more like, oh, this is your title. That's cute. My title's bigger than your title. I don't care. I don't look up to anyone I don't look up to for real. What I mean is, I don't look up to somebody because of their title. I would only look up to somebody who has given me reasons based on my interactions with them or the way I see how they deal with others. If they give me a reason to look up to them, then I will. But if not, oh, you're a doctor, I respect you automatically just because you're a doctor. There's doctors who are in it because they really want to help people. There's doctors who get into it because they looked at everything in terms of, what is the salary for this? I know salary is a factor, but there's some people who are in it primarily for the salary. You can tell when you meet one. I wish there was a reality show in my workplace. That'd be really fun. I wish that my workplace could be selected for an undercover boss. I know the exact people who I would like to see being examined with an undercover boss. I would love to see that. They have a confessional room. Talk to the CEO the same way I talk to anyone else. I think I said this before on here. I used to work for this counseling center, and the counseling center was going bankrupt. So another counseling center came in and took over operations for an original place that I was working for. And they did it in such a rough way, where a bunch of the therapists that were working there got fired. They didn't really technically fire them, but they came in there and offered them salaries. They were already contracted with the one company, and they were like, you can continue with us under this name, but you have to take this salary that's $20,000 less than your original salary, and you have a week to decide. And then they just implemented all their, like, basically they came in there and were like, we don't care about patient turnover because there's always going to be new patients. That was their mindset. So I, at the time, was working as a peer counselor in there, and I used to run a peer advocacy group. And a lot of people voiced their concerns to me about the hostile takeover of that place and how they were having mental breakdowns over the fact that they're losing their therapist and then losing their psychiatrist immediately. They had to adjust to some new person, all these rule changes and stuff. So I had made friends with somebody from the new company that was a higher up. And I told my clients, we had a whole group, and I was like, give me your list of concerns, and I will find an appropriate person and figure out a way to have a sit down with them to see if they can come and address y'all in some kind of way. So I took down a list, and then I took the list, I typed it out, I went to the floor where that person that I said that I made friends with was working, and I said, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about some concerns that a lot of the clients are having. I said I run a peer advocacy group, and they kept saying that they were feeling very anxious and triggered by different things that were going on. So I just wanted to present this list, not to step on anyone's toes or say anyone's doing anything wrong, but just to let you know, give you like a pulse of what's happening in your building and see if there's anything that can be done to mitigate some of these concerns. So she said, oh, this is excellent. You know what? I'm gonna plug you into such and such person. I didn't ask who that person was, nor did I know who that person was. I just know that I asked the person that I knew, who was one of the higher ups in the company, to direct me to someone I can speak to for my concerns. So she brought me over to that person's office. That person was looking at me like I was dirt when I stepped in there. She was like, who are you? I said, I'm the peer counselor. I work on X whatever floor. And she looked me up and down. Oh, she was like, okay. And I'm just thinking, I don't know who she is, but this is just a person who's like acting disrespectfully. And I said, yeah. So I asked the person who had brought me to the room, I asked her if there was anyone I could speak to regarding concerns they had on this floor. And I had everyone write these things out, and I was directed to you, and I wanted to just go over this list with you. She's still looking at me like, who are you and why are you speaking to me? So I go through the list. She was like, okay, why did you make this list? And I was like, because I've been working here for X amount of time, and a lot of these people, I'm a peer advocate, so I'm like, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm advocating for the people that are in what is now your program. And I told them that I would bring my concerns to somebody, talk to them, and see if we can come to any kind of at least middle ground on any of these issues. So like eventually, honestly, that person, even though she acted like that in the beginning of speaking to me, I actually earned her respect. Even though she didn't respect me when I first walked in there, I actually earned her respect. And she came upstairs and addressed everybody. And she talked to them nice. I mean, terrible bosses, I think anyone who has worked anywhere knows that terrible bosses will always talk to clients nice. Even if they talk to their own employees like dirt, they will talk nice to the clients to make sure the clients don't leave, because that represents their money. They'll yell and scream at you behind the scenes, but they'll be like, thank you for being a wonderful customer or client. You are what makes our organization run. Let's give you free stuff and throw parties for you, appreciation parties and this and that. And yeah, so she came up and talked to them nice. But anyways, my point of saying that is my direct boss was upset at me because I didn't tell her that I was going to speak to this person who I found out was the chief clinical director of that program. And within the hierarchy, I can't remember, I think that was the fourth highest position in terms of rank and in terms of pay in that organization. But you know what? When she told me, oh, did you talk to the chief clinical director? Her name is this. I was like, yeah. Knowing that she was the chief clinical director didn't faze me. I would still have the same conversation if I was told beforehand she's the chief clinical director. I don't care that you're the chief clinical director. You know, that's probably the reason why I don't usually advance in these companies, to be honest with you. So I'm not glorifying me not being pressed by somebody's title, but I am saying, I remember when that person would stop by the building, everyone would be like, oh, I better be on my P's and Q's because this person is coming in. I'm like, I don't care. Like, if you come into my building and talk to me a couple of times, 2-3 times for the year, my work is going to be my work. Either you like it or you don't. Chances are you probably know about my work. You've probably spoken about me in some meetings before. So somebody reported to you and told you the work that I'm doing. The work speaks for itself. I'm not going to kiss your behind. None of that. I wouldn't even say she got it together. I would say that some bosses, they get such a thrill out of being able to say jump and the person says how high, and they only respect people who push back. And I think that's where I've been at, because any conversations that I've had with higher ups over the years, they like that I have a backbone. They love that I have a backbone. But then they also don't want me in those back rooms. So that's the reason why they don't promote me. They don't want me in those back rooms kicking up dust, because if we sit in that room and we decide on something that's unfair or just doesn't make sense, I'm going to be the one who says that. And they don't want that. A company wants a good amount of yes men in the boardroom. My company loves that in particular. They love having some yes men in that boardroom. They do. So I'm about 1 minute away. I already have so many things in my head prepared. I'm a stickler for preparation, which is funny, because when I was in school, I didn't prepare at all. I just freestyled half the time. I'm prepared for the conversations to go any direction. Like I said before, like I'm prepared for us to be like, ha ha ha, and then laugh in each other's face and not get to the issues. Or I'm prepared for the boss to be like, hey guys, do you have any feedback? How do you think the year has gone? What is your morale like? I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for people to give me shady comments and have responses to those comments. I'm prepared for any way that it could go. What I do in these settings is I don't lead. And what I mean by that is I don't try to dictate where it's going. I just come in there, I'm quiet at first. I kind of check the temperature of what's going on, and I act accordingly. I have a different bag for metaphorically. I have a different bag for every conversation. Every possible conversation that we could have, I have responses lined up for that. So here I go. Here we are. Back here in the place to be. Back here in the place to be. All right now. Time to go in here and do the same old song and dance. The Last Dance. I didn't even say why I titled it that. The Last Dance, because I don't know if I'll be here next year. In terms of, that's not supposed to sound cryptic. I mean, I don't know if I'll be here with this company next year, because I feel like I'm on a day-to-day. That's my feeling whenever I'm here. I feel like day-to-day, I don't really want to be here, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, happy Friday, and I'll update y'all when I'm finished. I'm probably not going to win the ugly sweater party, but I like my ugly sweater regardless. Talk to y'all later. Hey, Ed.